All right, so we thought it was finally about time that we did another Q&A. It's been, like 4 years since our last one? So we're about due for one, and we figured it was a fitting time since we just hit 1 million subscribers, which is mind-blowing still. Like, I haven't even fully comprehended that yet. But, yeah, you want to just dive right into answering some questions?
Well, I was going to say some other stuff. So right now we are actually remote because we're home quarantined for social distancing, and I got my social distancing beard going. So we're trying to sync this up. It's a little bit different format since we're not in the same place, but since we hit 1 million subscribers and we're stuck at home, we thought it was better time than ever to do this. So let's start with the questions.
And these are in no particular order, but we're going to start with the ones from YouTube first. Joshua Sutherland asks, what's your fave architectural style? For me, and it's probably the same for Brian, I think, is definitely Art Deco.
Yeah, that's up there. And Futurism's pretty cool too. But like mostly stuff that's old has my interest no matter what it is. But yeah, Art Deco is something else.
He asked pre-war or post-war. I would say I prefer pre-war, like 1920s stuff. But, 1950s stuff can be nice too. Like that very minimalist, streamlined,
for sure,
modern style of architecture can be cool too.
Mm-hmm. Trent K asks, how many times have you been arrested or charged for trespassing?
Surprisingly little.
I don't want to jinx it.
Actually, 0 times.
0 times arrested or charged, but we've can't speak. But we've been given one ticket for trespassing at Kings Park, surprisingly, and that was when they had undercover police and we weren't even inside the place. That's a pretty bad story.
That was freaking ridiculous. Basically, we were just at Kings Park taking some Polaroid pictures of the outside of the buildings, and we see these cops come out of a car dressed as urban explorers, like wearing backpacks and everything. And an unmarked car, it's obviously a cop car.
Don't have police uniforms on, so yeah.
No. So we see them go walk behind the main building there. So we just go walk up to them to talk to them, see what's up. And they just like whip out their badges and they're like, they said they were detaining us or whatever for trespassing, and they wrote us a ticket for breaching a fence. And I have a picture of the fence that we supposedly breached, and there was no fence. It's a big gaping hole, and that's what they wrote us up for. And I had to plead guilty because I didn't want to fly all the way back to New York just to go to court for that, and it ended up being dropped in court anyway, so it wasn't a big deal, but still, it was so stupid.
So the only place we got a ticket at was one of the easiest places in the country. One of the most popular urbex spots.
Yeah, it's always the dumb spots where you get caught.
We weren't even in the place.
You're just not cautious because you don't think anything of it. But I mean, it wasn't even a question of being cautious because it was like, we didn't think we were doing anything wrong to begin with. We were just walking around in a public area. We were like, when they were writing us up, we were like, are we in a public area right now? And they were like, yes. So we're like, what's the problem? They're like, you breached the fence. And it's like, it was so dumb.
Well, it was dismissed probably because it wasn't a valid case.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go on to the next one. Emma Rose asks, are you going to film any more Bumps in the Night videos? We've tried to film like 3 Bumps in the Night episodes where literally we're filming for hours all night and we don't get a single thing interesting happening.
We're basically just in a dark room talking to ourselves and waiting for stuff to happen, but nothing happens. It'd honestly be pretty funny to post something like that, just like...
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
I mean, they're fun sometimes. I don't want to give up on them completely, but don't expect them to be a frequent thing on our channel. It's always going to be once in a blue moon for Bumps in the Night.
Colossib Dumont says, have you ever thought of going to Chernobyl? It's a very frequently asked question. Of course we have. It's a popular tourist destination now, so if we're going to do it, we'd probably want to do something different, not just tour the place. make it more into an adventure and camping there and stuff like that. But
the HBO show made it really popular, so we kind of want to wait until that wave of tourism dies off before we go. And we're also thinking about, if we do go, probably we want to do it unofficially. What do they call those guys who go illegally to Chernobyl?
I forget. But yeah, spending a night there, going in the buildings, and then somehow getting to see the control room separately from that would be good too.
Okay, yeah. To see the control, and we'd have to go legally for that part.
Obviously,
but like we could maybe do something legal first.
But we'd have to include that.
Do our stalker is what I was thinking of. They call them the stalkers there, the people who go illegally. Right there, the very next person asks, have you guys thought of going to Chernobyl either as stalkers or tourists?
There you go.
If we just went to the next question, I would have seen. Thank you, Mike and Mika. All right, Riding with Bart G asks, have you or would you ever carry any protection with you, since the nature of what you can do places you in some sketchy situations? We don't. I wouldn't say that we would never consider it, because there are definitely some really sketchy areas in this country. And people do get robbed doing this. But the reason we don't is because, to us, the risk is greater of being caught by the police and then getting slapped with some crazy charge for having a weapon on us while we're trespassing. Like, we could maybe get a felony or something. And I think I'd rather get my camera stolen once than get a felony, I mean, I don't want either to happen, but still. But
we have thought about it before, because if we're going somewhere extremely dangerous, even though I don't think we really have, as of to this point, 100% of the time you're going to run into someone who is aggressive, but I would obviously choose to have a weapon and my life versus a ticket or charge.
I mean,
but for the most part, it's more likely to get caught by police than it is to get in trouble with someone who's aggressive.
I mean, if it's just sketchy people, like drug addicts or whatever, it's pretty easy to just pick up a metal pipe somewhere.
That's true.
Once you're already in the building
to defend yourself in the place.
And then second off, if you're getting robbed at gunpoint, it's probably dumb to even try to fight back anyway, just over some physical possessions that are ultimately replaceable. Because even if you do have something to defend yourself, you don't know how it's going to go exactly if you try. So I don't know. Our philosophy has always been to go without protection for the reasons we said before.
Plus we're two people, so that usually fends.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. Allie Fitzgerald asks, since you guys are both filming at the same time, do you multicam sync or do you add in your videos manually? And how long does the editing processing take? We sort through our videos manually and add them into the timeline as we see fit. Sometimes we rearrange them. Sometimes we take audio from other clips and video from other clips. So we do everything manually.
We do sync it, but we have to go one clip at a time.
But it's Premiere, so sync never really works. 10% of the time.
Well, yeah, we have to manually sync it by listening to it. Normally I'll listen for a crack or a door shutting, because that's a nice sharp sound wave that I can easily match the two clips together with. And then I'll cut from there.
How long does it take? 40 something hours, I'd say. That's just a complete guess, but it feels like something long like
each that. Maybe 40 hours each.
Yeah.
Or yeah. And I would say assembly probably takes more than half of that time.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like assembly, I have to take more pauses in it,
it's
more mental breaks, because it's very draining, tedious work. But then once assembly is done, I tend to just go really fast through everything else.
Yeah. I take a lot of breaks when I'm assembling, because I just get so stressed and so annoyed with something sometimes where I just have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the stuff like the intros, since that's more creative and different for each video, I tend to like feel more inspired making those parts. So like usually I'll go in and start with the intro or like a cinematic sequence just to get, you know, the part I'm most excited about and get into the project. And then from there, it's just a tedious task of assembling everything else. And then at the end, we do a lot of work polishing. Like if there's a sound in the background that I find unpleasant, I'll like cut audio from another clip to cover it up and like blend it so you can't really tell. Just fine tuning the cuts and stuff like that to make it as polished as possible.
All right. Sgt Hale asks, do you get a lot of exercising from your explorations?
You know, the pedometer on my phone is pretty funny because you can see every time I'm on a trip, like my step counts are just through the roof, and then as soon as the trip's over, it's just like 0
pretty much
every day.
Same here. You can see the exact days where we're exploring.
Yeah. The trips are a lot of exercise, but then
it's also,
when we're not on a trip, it's like nothing's just sitting at the computer most of the time.
Pretty much my only exercise, so.
Yeah. It's just like being quarantined. JP asks, do your parents, siblings / partner know what you do? And if so, what do they think of it? My parents don't really care. They're just like, whatever, as long as you're not a drug addict, we don't care what you're doing. My brother, he's like thinks it's cool that I'm a YouTuber, but as far as the actual videos, I don't even think he watches them. And my girlfriend doesn't really watch them either. Everyone's kind of impartial on my side, at least. What about you?
My parents didn't like what I was doing until they realized that how big the channel was becoming, and now they kind of just deal with it. Plus, they really don't have much of a say anyway. My girlfriend doesn't like when I travel, but then again, that's what I've been doing as a job. And my sister really doesn't care. Basically it.
Yeah, our siblings are so just like unimpressed by what we do.
The Flailing Melon asks, do you have any trips planned in the future? Well,
we were supposed to be in Europe this summer, but that's not happening.
Yeah, the travel restrictions have indefinitely delayed our Europe trip that we were planning, Europe 2.0. But that's definitely happening once the restrictions are lifted.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's winter by the time they're lifted, I don't want to do it in winter. So it might get pushed back to like next spring or summer even.
If it's winter, we'll just do another US trip and then do that spring.
Yeah. I'd like to try to go in the fall.
Yeah.
If it's possible, but we have to see how this whole situation is going to unfold.
Yeah, international travel might be delayed for a while.
Yeah.
Fire Nano asks, how far do you film your videos in advance? I was just wondering, since your China videos have been coming out for over several months. We film our videos in advance, but we don't really edit them that far in advance. We have videos still that have been filmed but not edited from over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now. But we really just sit down and edit them as we're going to post them. That way we can decide which video we're posting on the fly.
Yeah. And some videos, as far as like when they're filmed, some are only filmed like a month in advance, but then others are like years in advance. I mean, I think on our channel right now, the longest we've waited to post a video is probably like a year and a half, but there are some in our backlog right now that I know are not going to be posted for years just because the places are that special.
Yeah, there's no set like time we have for filming and then uploading and posting, editing. It's just like we film them all in bunches on our trips and then we post them as we see fit.
Yeah. Oh, you want to answer this question? Spray Juice YouTube asks, have one of you guys ever gotten severely hurt?
I don't know if it's severely, but I feel like I'm always the one getting injuries on our trips. Like our last...
so is hospitalized what we consider severely hurt?
3 times so far. Two times.
Wait, 3? 2,
times.
Okay, yeah.
I've gotten hurt on a trip.
And then like in Japan,
times
almost 3,
that
but
I can
not
think
quite.
of. The last one was I had road rash from Japan on those bikes. That'll be up in a vlog sometime soon. I cut my finger and I needed to get the Dermabond when I was climbing into a theater. And
which the video is on our channel. The whole time Brian was filming, he had his finger bleeding
Hey Google,
out.
stop. I think we left off where I said I cut my finger. And then the first time I was hurt, I fell into the Tennessee River and got hypothermia.
Wait, you're talking about this? I thought you weren't going to talk
That's
about
all I'm
this
going to
ever.
say.
Okay.
I fell into the Tennessee River, got hypothermia, went to the hospital, and I had a warm IV injected into me. And I was fine after that. But I feel like I'm always the one getting injuries. And those are the 3 that I could think of that happened while we were on trips.
Yeah.
You actually fell through the stairs recently.
I did, and there's a video of it.
Yeah.
We can interject that in here, I guess, because I don't think the video is even going to be posted anywhere else because the place was shit.
A clip or something. I don't know. Good.
All right.
Next.
Let's move on.
Loco Films asks, what do you guys do outside of YouTube for work? As of a year now, we've been doing YouTube full time. We graduated from college and we decided to do this full time for a bit because there's no better time now since our channel's growing. So it's really once in a lifetime thing.
Justin asks, is there a way we can recommend locations to you? Yeah, just message us literally anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. On that herb says, honestly, there's always got to be some sort of smell to all that old, decaying, rusted out, molded overtaking of a building y'all scoping. How would you describe all that?
You know, there's been multiple times where I was not in an abandoned place.
Yeah.
There's been multiple times where I was not in an abandoned place and it smelled just like an abandoned room. And I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it has such a distinct smell.
You can say other places smell like an abandoned building, but you can't describe the abandoned building smell.
It's so distinct, but like there's nothing that smells like it.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's like not just must. There's something else to it.
It's just the way the building decays just makes this smell.
Yeah. It's almost kind of a spicy smell. I don't know how to put it. When the mold is really dank, it's spicy sometimes.
Yeah. Bob asks, have you seen any vandals or other trespassers before? Yes.
Yeah.
In popular places, there's other explorers all the time. Thinking about seeing vandals reminds me when we were in an abandoned mall and I went through a small hole in the wall and in a pitch black room, there just happens to be like 4 people scrapping. Other than that, they were friendly, but they were actively scrapping.
What are you talking about?
When we went through the hole in the wall in the mall, and then there were just 4 other scrappers.
Oh, okay. I remember.
Yeah. That's like, I don't know. I just coming through that wall and then just like saying hello and seeing like
at
4
like
people
2
unexpected.
a.m.
And they had like rolls of copper in their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have brought the tripods this direction too.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Were you hiding?
I didn't know who you were.
We're just taking pictures.
Here, grab your bag.
You scared me. I just saw you just come up from the floor.
So Andrew Fryer asks, do you have plenty of other videos to put on the channel since you can't explore for a while? Yes, we do. Our backlog right now is the biggest it's ever been. We have at least like 30 videos maybe to go up. Does that sound right about?
Something like that. As I was saying before, we have videos from like 2 years ago at this point. So we can post some old ones that we've been putting off for a bit maybe and mix it up. But we got plenty of videos to edit. We just got to get to editing them.
Yeah. Kylie Patterson asks, do you have any plans to add to the Forbidden Explorer series? No, we don't, because we are sort of just doing the same thing anyway, but not calling it Forbidden Explorers anymore. The whole idea with Forbidden Explorers was to have like a designated series where our most high production quality episodes would be. Because at the time we were still in school, so it wasn't like we could put that much production quality into every single video and still put a video up every 2 weeks. But now that we're out of school and doing this full time, we kind of can do that. So that is why that series has kind of disappeared.
Yeah, if you go back to a normal video from when we were posting those Forbidden Explorer episodes and compare them, they're very different. But then if you compare a current video to one of those episodes, they're pretty similar in the way they're structured.
I mean, we were trying more new things with Forbidden Explorers. Like, there was more build up to actually exploring the place.
Well,
which
Forbidden
I liked.
Explorers originally
I would
started
like to get back
as
to
a completely
doing that.
different project with features and interviews and a bunch of other stuff which never came to fruition. But it definitely was a step up in production quality, which is kind of where we have all of our videos at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Elliott asks, what direction do you guys see the Proper People going to in the future? Do you see yourself moving into other types of documentary filming, fiction, or an urban exploration plot, or expanding beyond urban exploration? We've definitely had ideas to do stuff that's not just abandoned. Maybe something that's still an interesting building.
It would stay within documentary
style.
though. I would never do fiction on our channel.
Yeah, I mean, unless I had a really good idea, but I'm also not actively thinking of something, and I don't want to force it. Plus, I'm happy with documenting interesting places. So I was thinking maybe something along those lines. Doesn't have to be abandoned, but as of right now, we're staying pretty focused on the abandoned stuff.
Yeah.
And they also ask about a photo book. I think we were working on that a while ago.
We floated the idea, but it's a lot of work too.
Especially
I would
with
to write,
photos,
not just put photos in
videos, social media, editing, all this stuff. And it's just us two right now. It's a lot of work, and that's something we could possibly do in the future. But as of right this moment, I don't think it's going to happen quite too soon.
Okay. Kelly Fox asks, how did you come up with the name The Proper People? I know we've said before that we saw a sign on an abandoned building that said access prohibited except by the proper people. So we decided to call ourselves The Proper People. But that's actually a story that we came up with retroactively. The name originally we came up with before we even had any idea what kinds of videos we're going to be putting on our YouTube channel. So we had to come up with something kind of generic so we could do anything with it. And I don't know, it's an alliteration. We wanted something catchy.
Yeah, we were literally just shooting off words.
That's what we came up with.
And we
were
couldn't
just
think of anything
literally spamming random words out of our mouth. And
that's what sounded the best out of everything we
settled
said.
on.
So.
Yeah, like I remember we didn't even like it at the time, but now we've sort of grown into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
was
what
just
it
kind of
is.
like a weird name at first, but now it kind of developed into its own thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's all a name needs to be is it needs to be memorable, and it needs to be something that can sort of take on the character of whatever it is you're doing. And I think this name has done that.
Colton Kemp asks, how do you guys get away with uploading videos of trespassing? Just curious if there's a loophole.
That's a good question. And that's also a question that I don't even know the answer to. I don't know how.
We kind of
this
just
hasn't been a problem. Yeah. I think it helps that we wait a long time before posting our videos.
Yeah.
We also don't do anything in our videos that would...
All of the places we film are open.
Yeah.
For the most part, you can just walk
that's not
right
true. That's not... I mean, more recently we've been doing crazier and crazier stuff, but those videos are going to stay off the channel for a while until we think it's safe for us to post them. But I think the fact that there's a lot of time passed between when we post helps, and also the fact that we don't do anything that would needlessly anger a property owner, like nothing that's too reckless or irresponsible.
Yeah, we're not breaking and entering, we're not vandalizing, we're just going in and filming. So it doesn't seem that bad.
Mia San Camilla, sorry, asks, what is your all-time favorite location you had ever visited? Well, the real answer I can't say because it's a secret. But out of everywhere that we've posted, I would say my favorite is definitely the nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
The one that was mostly complete, not the one that was
That was so long
concrete
ago
shell.
too. So going from like what we were filming at the time to that was such a huge difference. It was just amazing seeing all the buttons lit up on the control board and the lights on and the reactor core.
I mean, we've been in like
not many people have seen that
30
kind of thing,
control rooms. We've been in like 30 control rooms since then, and that's still the best control room I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
it's just something about how out of date everything was, yet still somewhat untouched. It was like straight out of the 80s. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was vandalized when we were there.
But it wasn't destroyed.
Wasn't destroyed, no. And it did get destroyed after we went because, it blew up on social media. Everyone was going there. And it got vandalized. But then they locked that place down. Like, they have security there now. They cut down all the trees so you can't even approach without being seen. And they have, like, these trees with cameras and sensors on them and stuff, so I've heard. So, yeah, I don't think we'll ever get to go back there anytime soon, at least. But it'd be cool if we could one day.
Yeah. Glow281 asks, do you ever get annoyed with each other?
I'm glad somebody asked this because people always ask, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes in scenes it comes across like we're annoyed with each other, but it's just the way we talk to each other because we've known each other for literally like longer than most
everyone
married couples.
Gets annoyed with other people all the time. It's just you have to handle it like an adult and talk.
And I mean, you have to realize on our trips too, we literally spend like a month straight with each other. Like we don't
lived
get any
in the
time
same
apart
house
at
for
all.
years in college.
Yeah.
And then we were in a car together for like 20 hours straight at a time in the same hotel room constantly. So like
Yeah. It happens.
All right, next question.
Moving on. ADZ_JH asks, if you could choose one place on Earth, either abandoned or still open, that you could be given complete access to explore with no place closed and no time limit, what would you choose? For me, that would definitely be the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Just give me a Geiger counter and let me go wherever. I don't care.
That would be crazy. The whole place.
Go check out the elephant's foot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that, but I don't know. Maybe with the proper protective equipment.
Yeah. Just literally anywhere that is so unique and no one has seen inside of, like, I don't know. It's just like...
It checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
It's big. It's cool regardless of historical context, but then, of course, there is the historical context.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a holy grail. But, of course, it's not really abandoned, so...
Yeah. I don't think the whole place has been filmed online, like the power plant.
It has been, yeah.
Just the control rooms, I thought.
No, the turbine hall too, which
okay.
I think all the turbines are taken apart by now too, or at least they're pretty far along in the process of it. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever get bored of exploring? Also thinking of doing something like a cave again? Exploring different places are always different. So, I mean, I feel like if we mix it up, never really get bored. It's always awesome to see these off-limits places. Caves.
I mean,
we haven't really done a cave. We've done two mine videos, but I guess they're kind of similar.
Yeah, caving is, if it's all natural, that's kind of like out of our vein of what we do. But like, I would love to do more mines and stuff.
Yeah.
We kind of stick to man-made stuff. And then as far as getting bored of exploring, we have definitely become harder to impress. So I don't think I'll ever get bored, but the bar for like what types of locations excite me is just constantly getting higher and higher. But I think there will always be stuff out there that keeps me going.
Jacob Sweeter asks, what has been your closest call exploring? Like police, violent, homeless, etc.
As far as police, well, actually that wasn't police, that was just security, but my mind immediately goes to when we were in Belgium at that power plant.
Yeah.
And we had to run.
Yeah, that was
and then
like
hide
the closest.
in the bushes for like 2 hours.
We don't really have that many close encounters with security or violent people inside. That was probably the closest we've ever been to getting in serious trouble.
I'm thinking that power plant wasn't even abandoned.
Yeah.
Like, I think it used to be abandoned, but then by the time we were trying it wasn't really. I mean, the turbine wasn't running. It wasn't like actively generating power, but
yeah,
there was definitely something going on there. Okay, go. Run.
I don't think anything has happened that's been that crazy since then. We really don't get caught that much.
No. I mean, in China we did. Yeah. Since China, though, I don't think we've gotten caught once since China.
No. It was,
and we did
China's
like
the most
30,
we've ever
40
been caught
places
like ever
since
in
then.
one short time.
Yeah, it was literally every place. TJ Steart, I don't know. When there's no spaces, it's hard to tell what's meant to be a word and what's not. Yeah, it's not important.
Yeah.
Anyway, any places that have since been demolished that you wish you could go back and explore? Go back to probably, if we're only talking places that we've been already and not just any demolished place that we
I think they're saying go back in time
I would say,
and explore.
Oh, go back in time.
Yeah, because they're already demolished.
Well, no, he said since been demolished, so I think he means that we've already been to. And go back
I read it as since, like, as of today been demolished, that wish you can go back in time and explore. Why would you want to go back to explore something that's been demolished when you've been there in the past?
We'll answer it both ways then. For a place we've already been, I would say Rockland.
Yeah.
I think you would say the same.
Yeah, we didn't even finish exploring that. There were so many buildings. That was a huge place.
It was just the perfect asylum where you could just go through all of the tunnels and constantly pop up into new buildings, and it just goes forever. Mm-hmm. And then as far as a demolished place that we haven't been to, you know what? I think there was another question where somebody asked, so we'll wait till we get to that one.
I'm telling you, that one's asking since been demolished. You can go back to it.
Okay, fine. I'll just talk about it now. I would say my biggest regret for missing out on a spot is probably Weirton Steel in West Virginia.
We showed up
that was
there
a
right as they were
massive steelmaking complex. Yeah, there was like 4 blast furnaces in a line. Like, you know, our HFB blast furnace in Belgium video, it was 4 of those in a row. And I've always wanted to do a blast furnace in the US, and we've still yet to do one. And I've seen a few pictures of Weirton, and it would have been amazing, like a holy grail spot for me. But yeah, we were just a little bit too late from that by a matter of months, probably, not even a whole year.
Faith Willett asks, have you ever taken an item from a place you've explored? We don't take things from places.
I think a lot of people think the answer is no, but it's not.
Well,
actually, for Brian, the answer is no. For me, I have it right here because I had it ready for this question. I have my Nara Dreamland map. I think I've said before that I took a map from Nara Dreamland, but yeah, this is the only thing I've ever taken from an abandoned place.
Yeah, generally the answer is no, unless it's something that like really does not change the place at all.
Yeah, I mean, there was a box full of them. It was getting demolished.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted a souvenir from there because it was like my favorite place ever. Oh, that's a better answer for the last question. Nara Dreamland.
Yeah, I would have liked to
totally
go
go back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the holy grail of abandoned theme parks for sure.
Here's Sarah's question.
Who? Testu Dinade asks, what's your favorite TV show? Right now, it's definitely Better Call Saul.
I haven't watched the new season yet, which
it's pretty good.
Previous
so
ones
far.
have been really good, just as good as Breaking Bad, which is also one of my favorite shows.
I think I like this more than Breaking Bad.
I think so too. I think it's better.
The characters are just better.
Twin Peaks is one of my favorites. And I recently watched the show Dark on Netflix, which is the German show, and that is really cool.
Yeah, Twin Peaks and then both shows in the Breaking Bad universe are probably my two favorite TV shows ever.
HBK asks, what's your favorite country to visit for abandoned places? Probably the U.S. because
Definitely
we've
Italy
been
for me.
to the most.
Really? I was kind of disqualifying the U.S. just based on the fact that
internationally. I'm just saying U.S. because there's the most amount of places for the least amount of travel we know. But
yeah, I mean, U.S. is pretty good.
Europe is fantastic. Probably somewhere in Europe. Belgium.
For me,
Eastern Germany.
If I had to pick one country, it just has to be Italy. There's just something about
Italy,
the architecture there, and
we didn't even finish.
I don't know.
Going south of Italy, we stopped at Naples.
No, we only did northern Italy, but
tip.
I think northern Italy is the place to be for urbex because the Industrial Revolution was more of a thing there than it was in southern Italy, which was more agricultural, and the best urbex locations definitely follow a trend of like the more industrial areas because I don't know. There's just bigger cities that had more development, more economic boom.
There was definitely
and more bust.
Crossing the Alps from Germany and Switzerland to Italy, it was just like completely different feeling of everything. Like
well, yeah, you get into the Mediterranean
cities,
climate as soon as you cross the Alps.
Climate. It's pretty different. All right. Faded Afterlife asks, what's your opinion on the future of urbex? Is it becoming the hobby that'll eventually die off due to buildings being demolished or vandalized? It sadly seems like we're running out of nicely preserved decayed buildings. I think buildings go through cycles, especially because there is a huge economic decline right now. More buildings will become abandoned, and give it time, the decay will be there. They won't be quite the same because I feel like around the 60s, buildings really aren't built the same way at all. But there will be abandoned buildings.
It's not even comparable how we build buildings now compared to how we used to. It's just
but who knows?
A constant decline in quality.
20, 30 years, they might be like the new places.
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of modern architecture is really shit. Like the vast majority of what we're building. I mean, stuff's always going to look cool with decay. But I can't see myself getting as excited for any building built like in this decade. So I do think it's not going to die off ever because there's always going to be abandoned buildings, but it's definitely going to be less interesting to me eventually. But I don't know. The world's a big place. There's always going to be gems from past centuries around. It's just going to get harder and harder to find them.
Chance by Choice asks, when choosing locations, do you tend to lead towards places with a more vivid history or more interested in architecture? It's definitely seems to be more focused on content in the place we could film, because if a place is completely stripped out but has a lot of history, there's not really much to film actively. But obviously we focus on places that have both of them. That's the main goal. Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, for me, I'm definitely more interested in architecture than history. I mean, architecture is part of the history, but just a place having an interesting history isn't enough for it to catch my attention. Usually, if I see the architecture of a place first, that's what hooks me in. And then if it has a good history behind it, then that's just like the icing on the cake. But that's never like the main thing I'm seeking out. But that makes it sound like we really hate history. Like,
Yeah,
I don't. Like, I really love the history of it. I love the history of it too, but it's not like when I'm looking for places, what I look for first, you know? Because it's like something that adds to the experience, but it doesn't make it alone, you know?
Yeah.
Dave, I am Pix, says, how many videos do you shoot a month? We usually go out on a trip that lasts about a month and film a video almost every day, a rate of 1 video a day. Of course, we fail at some places, and there's some days that are just traveling, so it ends up working out to a lot less than that. But after that, then we'll just not be traveling for like months, and then we'll just be editing. So yeah, we kind of film in spurts like that. The next question is the big one. How do you find your locations?
The internet.
Should we take a stab at that one?
Just say the internet.
I mean, truthfully, yeah, Google. It's a lot more complicated than that, but the truth is it just takes a lot of time. Like, a lot of detective work too. Like, if you see a picture of a place, zoom in as much as you can on it, look for text, anything you can read. You can figure out what type of facility it is. That's a good start. And once you've seen a lot of these places, then you'll get pretty good at that. Yeah, it's really just a grind, and it's kind of different how you end up figuring it out for each place. Like, there's no set method. You just got to be a detective and use whatever you can at your disposal. Or, well, that's like if you're looking for a picture if you're looking for a place that you already have seen a picture of. But we also find random places just by driving and keeping our eyes out on the road, and also just by randomly looking around on Google Maps. I think that's a random hobby of a lot of urban explorers, is just spend a few hours panning around on Google Maps every now and then, and you'll usually turn up a few good spots that way if you know what you're looking for. Following rivers and railroads is a good thing to do if you're looking for industrial spots too. Yeah. You have anything to add for that?
Yeah, just basically scavenging the internet and finding clues and linking them to each other. Sometimes it's simple as like finding a window and matching that up to something on Google or another picture.
Well, that's how you like confirm it once you think you found it, is by matching up windows usually.
Yeah. Hey, Rio asks, how did you guys originally have enough money to go to these places? We went to school in Orlando, and we started filming local places to there. And we kind of just expanded our radius as our video views and subscribers went up. Like, as we were making more money, we added that to the travel budget. We really just started in our backyard.
Perfectly. Yeah. Uncharted Travel says, what was the most difficult location you've ever attempted to film, and what made it so difficult to explore? Any place that has security actively patrolling makes it very difficult to film, because you have to focus on not getting caught at the same time as focusing on trying to make a good video, and that can be kind of difficult. A place that comes to mind is Heavy Metal in Belgium, the place where we got welded inside.
They were literally inside the building with us.
They were literally walking around inside the building, and yeah, that was very stressful to film. But
just like trying to talk, but also be quiet and not get seen.
Yeah,
that was scary.
Shell Mitchell asks, do you ever get permission to explore?
We've tried.
We have a few times. Well, we've actually succeeded like once or twice, but
it's always like
99% of the time it doesn't
work. We just happen to find security guy who will let us in. We have very flexible road trips, so we pretty much just go wherever we have pins, and like we have backup spots of that, so like we can just go wherever. There's no like set plans where we have to be on certain days. So making scheduled permission visits for these places is extremely difficult.
I mean, I would work stuff into our schedule if I thought we could get permission places, but the problem is nobody will give you permission because it's just too much of a liability to go into these buildings. And then if you do get permission, you're not going to be free to go wherever you want. You might be stuck with a chaperone, and we're just not going to get the video that we want to get if we do it that way. So that's why we do the things the way that we do sometimes.
Dark exploration and shit says,
urban exploration and shit.
I don't know why I said dark.
Well, maybe because it reminded you of Herbux and Chill.
You're right. That's
his
why.
buddy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Urban exploration and shit says, do you believe you'll develop any urbex-related illness when you're older? We try to wear as much protective equipment as possible, and we don't kick up the dust. It happens, but we try to not make dust storms of asbestos when we're in there. So hopefully not. We're definitely trying our best to the point where, I mean, we're not trying to, every time we wear a mask, it covers our voice for the video, so it has to be a compromise. But we definitely, what's going on? But yeah, we try to wear as much protective equipment as possible, and we don't make huge dust storms of asbestos, so hopefully not. But there's always a risk with these kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect to develop an illness, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did either, because our exposure has been pretty repeated at this point.
But then you see people who have worked with asbestos in like the early 1900s that were like in clouds of it and like no protective equipment, pulling it out with their hands. Like,
yeah,
that's the real risk. We're not really disrupting it as much as we can.
Yeah. I mean, even if you do wear a mask too, though, you can't even protect yourself that much because
it gets on your clothes if you have facial hair.
It gets on your clothes.
Seal.
Yeah, stuff like that.
We try though. It's not like we're.
Most explorers have kind of accepted that it's just a risk that you have to be willing to take to do this hobby, really.
Disco Days asks, what cameras do you use? For the past like 4 years now, we've been using Sony A7Ss. As we said previously, my A7S stopped working, so I had to pick up an emergency A7 III, but we've been using pretty much only Sony cameras for multiple years now.
Macaroni Mango asks, what kind of abandoned buildings or sites are your favorite? Mine are definitely power plants.
I like the really old hospitals, which are getting harder and harder to find. They're either getting wrecked or demolished, but like the old late 1800s psychiatric hospitals, or any kind of old hospital is like really cool. Just how much has changed from then and now is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, the modern hospitals don't really do much for me, but
yeah, they're very plain. The old hospitals,
anything that's like Kirkbride or an old campus style with tunnels, like those are pretty far up there. They're just more hard to come by these days.
Frank Campbell asks, what state do you guys live in? I recently moved to Long Island, New York. Michael's still living in Orlando, Florida. It's our first time ever we've lived apart, so editing's a bit different, but we've been using online transfers and stuff, and it's been working pretty well.
Actually, Aphrodite asks, what all do you pack in your backpacks when going on an expedition? I've always been curious. Do you bring snacks? We pack our backpacks pretty full with camera gear. We get a little travel tripod in there, usually a spare lens, our main camera, a light panel, a grip for the camera, and then as far as snacks, usually just like a Cliff Bar or something, because it's pretty calorie dense and it's compact enough to just fit in there and you don't have to worry about it getting crushed. And yeah.
On our last trip, I actually got a new backpack, and I fit so much camera gear in there, like way more than usual. Like 3 lenses, 2 cameras, the Polaroid by A7, a point and shoot. So it's like a lot of camera gear. Plus we also have our slider and tripods, so it's pretty much all camera gear and then like a tiny little Cliff Bar. That's our camera bags and a water bottle. Courtney Ghouls asks, why did you guys share some locations when you're exploring with us and others you don't? It really depends on how easily recognizable and well known the place is, or how vandalized it is. Like, if you're gonna show something and it's obvious what place it is, we might as well say the name. And
we don't
if
want
us sharing the location isn't gonna affect the location itself, like it's already wrecked, or it's going to be demolished, or it is demolished. We share the location.
Yeah, it comes down to what effect will our video have on a location, and if it's bad, how do we reduce that effect? You know, so a lot of times we obscure clues too, and not just not say the location. We go as far as we can, and if it's like a really very special place to us and we can't reasonably obscure it, then we just won't post it.
Bill Ferroni asks, how difficult was gaining entry to China?
Surprisingly easy.
Yeah, we got our visas. That was no problem. You just pay the fee and you get them. Then you go to the country, they scan that, take your fingerprint, and you're in. It was more difficult going from China to Japan than it was from US to China.
Yeah, they were like searching our luggage and really questioning us in Japan, and we didn't get asked a single question at Chinese customs. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably because
China
don't need to
ask
knows
us
everything about us.
Yes, they're gonna just track you everywhere you go anyway.
China already knows.
And I don't think they were aware of our YouTube channel, as far as I know. They might be now. So now, if we ever go back to China, then maybe. I mean, we didn't show anything in a negative light, really, unless they consider showing any abandoned building as a negative light. But I don't think that we would be in trouble if we went back. I don't think we did anything that bad. Alex No Chill Matlock asks, if you had to compare the Chinese megaplex you explored to something built in America, what's the closest you could possibly get? I would probably say the Vegas Strip. Like, not the whole thing, but maybe if you took like that one dense portion of it, then yeah, obviously not with all the stuff there, because this place was empty. If the Vegas Strip was abandoned, you would have all these slot machines and other cool stuff to look at.
It's like Vegas, but if it was
in terms of scale,
empty.
That's about what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's basically just Vegas, but empty, under construction, and half underground. Girl Who Waited asks, what did you guys study in school? We both graduated with film degrees, but we also both started with engineering majors. We switched halfway through when the channel started growing, and we couldn't focus as much on school and the channel at the same time, so we decided to switch to something more in line with what we were doing for the channel.
It's a pretty good excuse to switch to an easier major. So Nelson Woodworking asks, is there a specific type of chair to be chilling, or can any type of chair chill? And it's actually not the type of chair that matters. It's more about how the chair is positioned, and if there's like a certain personification about it. Like, if a chair is just staring out a window looking like it's thinking about something, then that's a chair just chilling. Like, if it feels like when you leave, the chairs are all going to come to life and it's going to be like Toy Story in there with the chairs just mingling and chilling around, then that's a chair just chilling. If they're just stacked up in a corner and like thrown in a room somewhere, like just random objects, then it's not really chilling. So it's about the personification of it.
Yeah. Basically, all chairs can be chillin', but not all of them are. It depends on how they're positioned and the kind of feeling you get when you see that chair. Shockbox asks, what kind of video games do you play, if any? Haven't played that many recently. I really haven't been playing multiplayer games. I've been playing through the new Resident Evil remakes. I want to play the new Doom game. And I've been playing a bit of Minecraft. What have you been playing?
Yeah, we do have that Minecraft server going. But I don't think we should make that public for anyone to join.
No, I think only certain people on Discord
can be supported. Yeah.
It's only certain people on Discord. So if you're interested, join the Discord server. Ask around there.
Yeah, one of our mods, Jake, is running that, and I haven't asked him how many people it can support, so we probably shouldn't just flood that yet.
All right, that's the last question.
So 6 years ago, has it been 6 years or 5 years?
2014.
Since we started this channel.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years ago when we started this channel, it was just, us slapping some videos on the internet, thinking a few people might find them interesting. And then it was like, oh, some people are actually watching this. Oh, we're getting subscribers. And we're like, oh, maybe we can use the YouTube channel to fund our adventures and go to all these other crazy abandoned places we want to go to. And we didn't even imagine it was going to turn into 1 million subscribers and being our entire livelihoods. And it's just incredible and unbelievable to me that happened. And I am eternally thankful to all of you who have been watching and coming along and making this possible for us.
Yeah, this is like a dream come true. I would have never thought, even a year ago, that this big of a channel was possible. I never even thought, even a year ago, that we would get to this point. It's been amazing, an amazing journey, and we would not have been able to see these places or share them with you if you guys didn't watch the videos. So I want to thank everyone for being there and subscribing and watching. And it's basically, I lost what I was saying.
Well, basically, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
We're going to get back out there and keep doing what we're doing as soon as this whole coronavirus situation is over. And hopefully you guys keep on watching.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everyone.